Mark Twain, the father of American literature. Who was he? Well, Mark Twain was born Samuel Langhorne Clemens on the 30th of November, 1835. The name we know best is his pen name, Mark Twain. He died the 21st of April, 1910, and famously was born the year of Halley's Comet and died the year of the comet. He came in with the comet and went out with the comet. In his life, he was a riverboat pilot, a typesetter, a printer, a gold miner, a real estate speculator, a stock investor, and many, many other things. He authored numerous novels, short stories, and essays. He also used the names Josh when signing humorous drawings, and Thomas Jefferson Snodgrass on some of his writings. Now, why should you care? Because American literature can be fairly divided into two periods. Everything that came before Twain and everything since Twain. The author William Faulkner called Twain the father of American literature, which is quite high praise when you consider the source. And Mark Twain is still relevant today. His commentary on society rang true then, and it rings true now. His style is one of realism. He writes in the vernacular, meaning what he writes is the way that people spoke. Okay. Now, the topics he talks about are things that happen in the real world. The way people speak in his books are the way he heard people speaking. He had a very good ear for regional vernacular. He was extremely observant man, and he observed how people acted in public and how they acted in private, and how sometimes the same person acted completely different ways. He observed how people display themselves to the community and allow the community to see what they want to be seen. But he also observed how people are truthful or not truthful. All of this comes through in his novels. Twain's characters are believable as real people. His places are believable as real places. Now, the time has changed, but the mastery of his work is still there. Twain still comes through as a realistic critic of society. Now, criticism on Twain has changed over the years. In his own time, he was thought of as a rabble-rouser and a troublemaker. He was thought of as sinful, anti-imperialist, and amoral. You see, Mark Twain was very much anti-imperialist. He was a man who, when it was popular to be a racist, wasn't. He spoke up for people who had no voice. Twain spoke out against the treatment of the American Indian. He spoke out against treatment about ill treatment. That is, you understand, He spoke out against the ill treatment of black folk in the United States, and he spoke out against the ill treatment of Chinese rail workers. All of this made him sinful. You see, at the time, it was not just acceptable to put other people down in society, but it was morally just. So this also makes him amoral. Twain painted people as good church-going folks on Sunday, but some of the most horrible people Monday through Saturday. And that was considered to be troublemaking and sinful. Now today, some people look at Twain and they say that all they can see is the racism. They see pro-slavery, anti-Christian, and anti-American. As you read through Twain, you may come to understand that those criticisms of Twain, the modern criticisms, are people who didn't read Twain. He was very much not pro-slavery. As far as racism goes, he was about as not racist as you could be in a man of his time. Anti-American, he was against American imperialism, but then he was against all imperialism. And as far as anti-Christian goes, I don't know that Twain was anti-Christian, but he was not one to shield what he saw as wrong in someone else simply because they were a Christian person. Twain has been misunderstood by people who don't read him for a very long time. People who read him, however, and pay attention, start to notice that he is criticizing society. He shows us what is wrong with us. So you will be among those who have read Twain, and you won't criticize him unfairly. As we go through this semester with our novel Huckleberry Finn, we will tackle with Mr. Twain some very difficult issues. Simply because something is difficult does not mean it's not worth tackling. And simply because something is uncomfortable does not mean we will gloss over it. Mark Twain wants us to feel uncomfortable with some things. And we oblige him by feeling uncomfortable about those things. As we go forward, you'll understand more and more about Twain, but this brief introduction will serve to at least introduce you to the nom de guerre and personality, Mark Twain. If you have any questions about Twain, please ask and maybe put them in someplace where everybody can see your questions. If you don't want to do it publicly, ask me and I'll try to address it in a lecture going forward. Have a good day.